Hello, and welcome back to Random History. I am the navigator as we explore the little-known events and people that make history such an amazing subject. The events I delve into are probably not ones you've learned about in school. These are the ones that when you do hear about them, are likely to think they could not possibly be real. But they are. In this episode, I'm going to tell you the story of Bob Pardo. He is undoubtedly a name your history teacher did not bring up. But after hearing this story, you may be surprised how far servicemen and women will go to save a comrade in arms. I can't remember the first time I heard about Pardo's feat. I remember a painting on the wall of a lounge either in my ROTC detachment at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, at the Oak Club at Mather Air Force Base in California, or it may have been at the Oak Club in Plattsburgh, New York. The painting depicted two F-4 Phantoms flying very close in line with each other over the jungles in Vietnam. The lead F-4 had his tail hooked down, and it appeared to be resting on the windscreen of the second. Both airplanes were trailing smoke. This is that story. The Pardo Push is a remarkable story of ingenuity, bravery, and camaraderie that occurred during the Vietnam War. On 10 March 1967, two F-4 Phantom jets, piloted by Captain Bob Pardo and his wingman, Captain Earl Ammen, were returning from a mission over North Vietnam when Ammen's aircraft was severely damaged by anti-aircraft fire. What followed was a daring and unconventional maneuver by Pardo to save his wingman, which has since become a legendary tale in military aviation history. The mission involved bombing the steel mills in the Tay Nguyen region of North Vietnam. Pardo and Ammen were part of a four-plane formation assigned to destroy these critical targets. The mission was perilous, with heavy anti-aircraft fire and surface-to-air missiles, or SAMs, posing significant threats. As the formation reached the target area, Ammen's F-4 was hit by anti-aircraft fire, causing substantial damage to the aircraft and a rapid loss of fuel. Ammen's aircraft, with its fuel tanks punctured and one engine out, faced an imminent crash. Given the proximity of the enemy, ejecting over North Vietnamese-controlled territory meant a high likelihood of capture or death. Pardo's aircraft had also sustained damage, but he still had enough control and fuel to attempt a daring rescue. Now, they say with enough thrust, even a brick will fly. The F-4 is proof of that. That thrust came from two massive GE J-79 engines. And Ammen's aircraft had lost an engine and its 16,000 pounds of thrust. With his wingman's aircraft quickly losing altitude and unable to maintain level flight, Pardo decided to attempt an unprecedented maneuver. He suggested using his own aircraft to physically push Ammen's crippled jet out of hostile airspace and towards an area outside of North Vietnamese control where they could eject more safely. The concept was both simple and incredibly risky. Pardo would maneuver his F-4 beneath Ammen's aircraft and push against the tail section of Ammen's plane. Pardo's initial plan was to snug the nose of his F-4 against the tail of Ammen's so that he could use the thrust of his two working engines to propel both stricken airplanes into the Laotian jungle, where rescue would be much safer. Pardo told Ammen to jettison his parachute in order to open up a good push point at the rear end of Ammen's fuselage. Unfortunately, the turbulence from Ammen's working engine caused the two planes to nearly slam into each other. As he backed out from under his wingman's plane, Pardo saw Ammen's tailhook. Inspiration struck. Pardo told Ammen to extend his hook, and Pardo would push Ammen's aircraft by positioning his F-4 so that the tailhook rested against the windscreen of his jet. This approach, however, proved difficult because while the tailhook is pretty well fixed up and down, it can move side to side, and so it slid off every 15 to 30 seconds. After noticing the hook was also creating a spider web of cracks in his canopy of his aircraft, Pardo repositioned the plane so that the hook rested on the metal frame instead of on the windscreen itself. This is the scene that I saw depicted in that painting that I had mentioned at the opening. The turbulence created by the maneuver was extreme. Maintaining stable contact was a significant challenge. Pardo had to reposition about every 30 seconds or so of contact. Yet, despite these difficulties, Pardo managed to maintain contact long enough to push Ammon's aircraft and gradually slow its descent. The push was fraught with challenges. Both pilots had to maintain precise control over their aircraft to avoid a catastrophic mid-air collision. The turbulence from the jet engines and the damaged state of Ammon's aircraft made it difficult to keep the planes aligned. Moreover, Pardo's own aircraft began losing fuel, reducing the time available for this maneuver. To make matters worse, a fire broke out in one of Pardo's engines, forcing him to shut it down. This further reduced his ability to control his aircraft and continue the push. Yet, despite these setbacks, Pardo persisted, demonstrating remarkable skill and determination. After pushing Ammon's aircraft for approximately 88 miles and reducing their altitude from about 30,000 feet down to around 10,000 feet, they reached a point where both pilots felt it safe to eject. Pardo informed Ammon and his backseater, First Lieutenant Robert Houghton, that they had reached a safe ejection altitude. Pardo and his backseater, First Lieutenant Steve Wayne, also prepared to eject. All 4 crew members ejected safely from their aircraft and were later rescued by search and rescue helicopters. The Pardo push had not only saved Ammon and Houghton's lives, but also showcased the extraordinary lengths to which comrades will go to protect one another. Initially, Pardo faced criticism for his unconventional actions, which some viewed as reckless. The Air Force even reprimanded Pardo for not saving his own fighter. However, as details of the event emerged, it became clear that Pardo's maneuver was an extraordinary display of skill and bravery. The Pardo push received significant attention and has since been celebrated as one of the most daring aerial rescues in military history. In 1989, Pardo and Ammon were both awarded the Silver Star for their actions. The recognition came after years of lobbying by fellow aviators and supporters who understood the significance of the feat. The award citation highlighted Pardo's, quote, conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in the face of extreme danger, close quote. The Pardo push has become a symbol of ingenuity, courage, and unwavering bond between military aviators. It is often cited in military training and leadership courses as an example of thinking outside the box and taking bold action in the face of adversity. The story has been recounted in numerous books, documentaries, and articles, and even in an episode of the television series JAG, ensuring the legacy of Bob Pardo's remarkable maneuver endures. The event also underscores the importance of mutual support and the lengths to which aviators would go to ensure the safety of their comrades. It serves as a reminder of the unpredictable nature of combat and the need for quick thinking and decisive action. The Pardo push is an extraordinary tale of innovation and bravery during the Vietnam War. Captain Bob Pardo's decision to use his F-4 Phantom to push his wingman's damaged aircraft to safety is a testament to the ingenuity and heroism that can arise in the direst of circumstances. The legacy of this daring rescue continues to inspire and educate future generations about the importance of camaraderie, courage, and creative problem-solving in military operations. In our Today's Hero segment, I wanted to talk about a man who faced incredible adversity, overcame it, and would go on to run for the second highest office in our country. James Bond Stockdale, a highly decorated United States Navy Vice Admiral and Medal of Honor recipient, is widely recognized for his exceptional bravery, leadership, and endurance as a prisoner of war, or POW, during the Vietnam War. His experiences and reflections have left a lasting legacy on military and philosophical thought. James Stockdale was born on 23 December 1923 in Abington, Illinois. He attended the United States Naval Academy, graduating in 1946. Stockdale later pursued graduate studies in international relations and comparative philosophy at Stanford University, where he was influenced by the teachings of Stoic philosopher Epictetus. The philosophical grounding would later be instrumental in his endurance and leadership during his captivity. Stockdale's most notable period came during the Vietnam War. As commander of Carrier Air Group 16, he was shot down over North Vietnam on 9 September 1965. He was taken prisoner and spent over 7 years as a POW in the infamous Hanoi Hilton prison. His resilience and leadership during this time became legendary. He endured daily torture, solitary confinement, and malnutrition, yet remained a symbol of defiance and strength to his fellow prisoners. In an effort to resist the North Vietnamese propaganda machine, Stockdale disfigured himself to prevent being used in propaganda films. His adherence to the code of conduct and his efforts to maintain morale among his fellow POWs exemplified his extraordinary character. In recognition of his valor, Stockdale would be awarded the Medal of Honor in 1976. His citation highlights his, quote, conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty. After his release in 1973, Stockdale continued his naval career, eventually reaching the rank of vice admiral. He also became a prominent academic, serving as the president of the Naval War College and later president of the Citadel. Stockdale's experiences as a POW profoundly shaped his philosophical outlook, leading him to write extensively on the application of Stoicism to leadership and personal resilience. His books include Thoughts of a Philosophical Fighter Pilot and Courage Under Fire, testing Epictetus's doctrines in a laboratory of human behavior. These reflect his deep engagement with Stoic philosophy and his practical applications. Stockdale's articulation of the Stockdale paradox, a concept he discussed with author Jim Collins in the book Good to Great, encapsulates his approach to leadership and resilience. The paradox emphasizes the necessity of maintaining unwavering faith in the end goal while confronting the brutal realities of the present situation. This balance between realism and optimism became a guiding principle for many leaders. James Stockdale passed away on 5 July 2005, leaving behind a legacy of courage, resilience, and intellectual rigor. His life story continues to inspire military personnel, leaders, and scholars. Stockdale's integration of Stoic philosophy and his experiences as a POW provides a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure and thrive under the most challenging of circumstances. Stockdale's legacy is preserved not only in military history, but also in the broader context of leadership and philosophical thought. His contributions to both fields exemplify the profound impact one individual can have through a combination of intellectual engagement and personal courage. This brings us to the end of episode 2. I hope you've enjoyed the program. I know I enjoyed researching and writing it. I hope you'll continue listening to my future episodes. In episode 3, I'll be discussing another remarkable event in history, the strange case of the U.S. Army and the Wehrmacht joining forces against the SS in the Battle of Castle Itter, as well as the only woman to earn the Medal of Honor. Until next time, make some history of your own. Navigator out.